What's up, family? Today we are talking about shadow work, which is a term or a philosophy of meditation, introspection, and observation that can help you 10x your life if used correctly. And that's something that I've learned in the past months because I was super unconscious to the fact that you can get super immersed in darkness without even noticing it. So that's a warning that I want to make around shadow work because most of the meditation practices and spirituality in general is to embody higher realms of intelligence, dimensions, and spirit. But shadow work is going in the opposite direction to for you to understand what is it in there in your psyche that is limiting your potential, that is limiting or blocking the ability of your higher self to fully embody you. So the whole point of spirituality is to access higher realms of intelligence for us to get that intelligence into us and then promote it into the world as love, as intelligence, as wisdom, as community, as expansion, as healing. So that's the point of spirituality, to become more functional in this 3D realm. But the point of shadow work is to go where it hurts the most and understand why the pain is there. Because the pain is teacher. The pain is teacher. Like wisdom is pain overcome. So pain is there for a reason. Physically, pain is there to alert your mind that there is a threat. But there is emotional pain, energy, emotion, pain, because you have like an energetic body too. Let's talk about the four bodies that we have. We have energy, the emotional body, we have the mind, we have matter, which is the physical body, and we have ether, which is the etheric body, which is our spirit, our quantum body. So ether is what gives life to everything, and we're part of everything. So our bodies are a rent. They come from Mother Gaia and they return to Mother Gaia. Then our emotional body, it is a really useful tool because that's where we store all high quality emotions and not so high quality emotions. Or I wouldn't tag emotions as good or bad, but the point of the energetic body is that it's there to guide us and to also to store things, either good things or bad things. And the bad things, as energy blocks, they manifest themselves by us repressing emotions and by us not understanding that we have a trauma and that trauma crystallizes in that energetic body. So the point of shadow work is to make the subconscious conscious so we can start working on it. As I believe that awareness is 80% of the work, and the other 20% is feeling and then taking action in the opposite direction. That's how it has been for me. Like every time that I notice a pattern or a feeling or an emotion, it's like, oh, I need to be aware. And then I go, I feel it fully, and then I take action in the opposite direction. Because if I don't make that pattern conscious and I just keep it on my subconscious mind, it will keep running itself and it will create a vicious cycle that eventually will lead to disease, and I won't like it because it will create even a more strong vicious cycle that will affect other areas of my life even. So the point of shadow work is to make this subconscious conscious so we can start working on it and take action in the opposite direction. For example, in my case, I'm going to give one of my cases of the multiple success stories that I have in my own self. For example, for example, binge eating disorder. I had to go through the pain of seeing myself in this vicious cycle for 4 years. So for a point, I got to the last year of my binge eating disorder, and I was like in so much pain because at this point I had bulimia too, that I had to really like sit and write down how am I full of shit? Why am I missing? And the thing that I was missing is that fundamentally I was hating myself. Therefore, I was trying to correct it with these nutrition protocols that weren't like a fit for me. And eventually, this led me binging and then trying to correct it by puking it all out and or overcompensating through exercise or nutrition. So the point of this is that because of that deep pain and self-hate of me not feeling enough and not feeling good in my body, I tried so many times to correct this not enoughness by trying to look better. And that led me to the unconscious patterns of overly restricting my diet and then binging and then bulimia eventually and all this stuff that is not a fun thing to experience. So to a point, I had to sit with myself and I had to say, okay, I had to say that this is enough to myself. Like, okay, this is not working clearly, and it is enough. Like I see the pattern, I understand the pattern. Then I felt all that pain like stored in my body, especially here in the solar plexus, and I was like, oh, this is not helping me in any way. So I made the decision of breaking the cycle of, oh, every time that I have an impulse to binge, I will break it and I will go in the opposite direction. I will sit in silence and understand that this is hurting me and I need to correct it. Of course, with a lot of other modifications, because shadow work is for you to create a new identity. It's like to let go of whatever is not serving you, but first you need to make it aware. That's shadow work. And then you choose a new identity. My new identity was, okay, I'm not a binge I'm not a binge eater. I am a healthy, powerful, successful person that looks good and feels good. So that's how I ended the binge eating disorder, by consciously understanding the pattern, the root cause, and then taking action in the opposite direction. Of course, with a lot of modifications in lifestyle. Like I no longer do a restrictive diet. I now eat enough and nurture my body, and I am in that process because I am using shadow work too. But as in that process of loving myself fully, because I love some aspects of myself and I don't love some aspects of myself, which is conditional. But my goal right now is to achieve unconditional love to self and others, and I'm working on it. But in terms of the binge eating disorder, is gone completely. So that came as a product of me understanding the pattern, understanding the root cause, and eventually taking action in the opposite direction without avoiding feeling the pain. Like I sat and I felt and I cried and I felt so overwhelmed and unsuccessful, and I felt miserable because all the years that I missed doing this cycle of unconsciousness. So shadow work would be sitting with yourself and understand the things that are hurting you. Every trigger is an opportunity for you to sit in silence and understand why are you triggered and what's the root cause that is hurting you from that trigger. And then from that root cause, you start working in the opposite direction, but you first need to understand what's the root cause. And for that, you need to ask questions. And here I have the questions that I use, that I, one afternoon talking with my higher self, it was like, oh, this is the shadow work 101. And I can put it on the description of this video for sure. But basically the questions that I download were, what's triggering me? That's the first question. And if nothing is triggering you, you can ask, how am I full of shit? Or where does it hurts? You know, where does it hurt in my body or in my mind? What's going on? What do I want to address, basically? Then how do I feel about this thing? And then you need to feel fully the emotion, like, oh, I feel pain, I feel frustration, oh, I feel anger. You go there and you feel it fully. That's how you do step number 2. Then step number 3 is to, what's my automatic behavior when this trigger appear? So that's how you make aware the vicious cycle. So, and the most important thing that we can understand is that a vicious cycle is vicious because it's self-fulfilling. So the point of it is that it's subconscious, that you're not aware of it. So once you make the cycle aware, it's like, oh, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and then I end up doing this. That's what you need to understand. And then from there, you start working in, oh, I'm aware, till you break the cycle enough times that it's no longer in your DNA. Like it's no longer subconscious first, but it's then a process of practice of, oh, I broke the cycle so many times that it's no longer part of me. You know, like it's not that you just click your fingers and, oh, I'm out of the cycle, even though it can happen like that. But yeah, that's the point. It's like, oh, I'm aware of the cycle. I forgive myself. I accept myself. I learn from this cycle, and then I choose the opposite direction. So if it is self-hate, you self-love the fuck out of you. You know, like that's how it is. Then you the question is, do you identify with your cycle? Do you feel that that cycle is you? And if the answer is no, that is highly likely that it's going to be no, you are like, oh, what have I have been doing this time? And then you ask yourself, what's the lesson behind this emotion, pattern, or behavior? What's the lesson behind it? For me, binge eating disorder was like, I've lost so many opportunities to enjoy life and to be out of my mind and in the present moment, because I was trying to compensate and I was feeling guilty with food and everything, that I missed a lot of time in that beauty of life. So that's the biggest pain that I have, that I had, you know, like missing all those amazing times with family, friends, and stuff. And I was all in my mind, feeling guilty. That was so painful. And also the pain of not giving my body what it needed at that time. It was super painful. And yeah, you just need to understand the lesson so you can move on and integrate that lesson in you. And then you need to start acting in the opposite direction. That's the fifth question, is like, what would love and light do instead? Or what would my higher self do in this situation? Is like, oh, I wouldn't binge, I would love myself, I would nurture myself, I would eat the food without guilt, and I would move on. That's the thing. So learn what are your patterns, understand the root cause of your patterns, understand the cycles, and then you move in the opposite direction. I hope that this helps. If I'm gonna put the guide on the description for you to read it and understand it. And yeah, I hope it helps. And shadow work, oh, the dangers of shadow work is that you don't, every day you don't need to go there and where it hurts the most, because most of the time, even if you're having a good day, it's hard to go there where it hurts, you know. So I would say that it's just a habit that I use when I'm triggered or when I'm in deep pain, like, oh, why do I feel like this? And then I go and do shadow work so I can understand that pain, basically. And yeah, but yeah, I don't recommend to, because I confused this work as being super spiritually advanced, and I was doing shadow work like 3 times a day, like every day, and I was like, oh, I'm the master of darkness now, you know, because you get confused and you get immersed in that darkness, and it's all what you see, because what you focus on is what you create and manifest. So you be careful with that, and use shadow work when it finds you, and when it finds you is when you need to deal with some painful stuff within yourself. I hope it helps. If you need any help with shadow work and stuff, or with healing, I'm in that process, but the things that I healed for myself, I can help you heal. And all fitness wise and stuff, all of that, nutrition, biomechanics, workout, and if you want to get your health to the next level and heal yourself naturally, just hit me up with a DM, and I'm more than happy to help you evolve and to achieve your best self. Let's go, family. Let's keep healing, because when we heal the world. Imagine a world full of healed people. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. So, bye, family. See you in the next video. Stop this. Stop.